Hello people and welcome back to News Review. Coming off the end of a collab, we have a metric ton of new content again. The patch notes are extremely long this time, so I'll be condensing a lot and omitting things that I don't think are too important. If you are a new or returning player, I do recommend you check out my new player guide. It'll help you better understand what I'm saying in the video. As always, open up the patch notes, link in the description if you want to follow along. Additionally, I'm trying out a new thing where I buy a guild stage for every 10 subscribers I hit, which will give you a diamond if it's your first time clearing it. Thank you so much for 500 subscribers. The next milestone will be at 510 subscribers, so subscribe and also join the guild as well as the Discord. Both codes in the description if you want to participate and be notified of that. Starting off, we have a new seal, Extrinsic Detectives, that will have 6 characters in it, with the skills of the 3 jackpots being revealed this week and the other 3 small prizes being revealed next week. The seal is opening at the beginning of next week, and I don't know why they decided to split it up like this, but this is just how it is. For the main jackpot, we have the light human Moriarty, who joins the ranks of a famous historical figure, being genderbread and being light human. She is just okay as a leader, ignoring most of the common things and having a decent amount of utility. One thing that might be a pain point is the lack of heart runestones on board in typical play. In addition, she also has a team skill that is probably the worst design skill ever, just because of how unnecessary and unbalanced it feels. Basically, you gain additional skills as you defeat enemies of specific attributes, which is fine in theory, but you can't control what enemies show up and in what order, so this kind of concept just seems 5 years too late with respect to modern day stage design. However, you're not completely screwed, since you can force enemies to solve the mystery of reading the entire active skill, which is 2 whole pages long, so Veldora has some competition here. In all seriousness, the active skill does remedy this, but it's just written in such a convoluted way. For her first active, it ignores a great deal of stuff and also does burst damage the next round like Gabi Maru, so you could theoretically do similar kinds of cheese strats. The other part of her active is a 5-choose-1, where the type chosen also counts as an enemy of that type being defeated for her active, which is where you don't really need to rely on enemy RNG to get specific skills. The effects themselves are just okay, all having some kind of utility but nothing crazy. Also, I do not know why there are 2 mentions of specifically the number 39 of her, just in her active. Maybe Moriarty was a fan of Hatsune Miku. For her second active, it's basically a counter to negative runestones while also possibly adding to her team skill. I do not know why they only gave the skill CD cycling for itself and not the card. I don't even think it would be that broken. It would just make the card actually just a little bit better. After hearing about how the active skills work, hopefully it becomes clear why the leader isn't absolute trash. If you do end up using this card, what you'll probably do is immediately get the protective shield effect from the light attribute from defeating a light enemy using the active, and then go from there because you want that as soon as possible. Moving on to the sub-jackpots, Man had only showed their active skills, which means that they are unusable as leaders. Great. Anyway, we have the Dark God Clark, whose only purpose is to basically break cross-shaped shield, since the other effects are pretty useless. And the last sub-jackpot is the Light Demon Cox, who is once again a demon who doesn't unlock demons and instead unlocks his own series. Again, this is a token unlocker, and if the skills for the sub-jackpots are this bad, I don't really know what the small prizes will look like. Next is a new event containing 2 minigames, where the first minigame gives you currency for the second, and the second gives you currency for Dragonwares and a new event character. Not convoluted at all. I don't know why they did this. Just make it one, man. This Dragonware gives a decent attack boost. I don't know why they put CD -3 when Moriarty already has an insane CD reduction everywhere, but I suppose it's helpful if the members are ever used outside of their own series. As a craft, it's not that good, so that's kind of disappointing. We have back-to-back Dragonwares, this one being for the series of free event cards. This one actually sucked even more. I honestly see very little reason to use this over other Dragonwares that you might have. Starting off the free cards, we have the new minigame character I was talking about earlier, the Light Beast Toby. This is a rather unique card for beasts. If you keep killing enemies, you can keep reactivating the skill, and with that in mind, the effects do become quite a bit better. Next is the new Ultimate Earth Dragon Derek. I have no idea what this card is doing here since it is just pure trash. Giving you enclosed areas is just a huge negative, and the only effects that may be remotely good are unlocking and attack restriction. Unfortunately, attack restriction is covered by Novelist, the reigning champion of Dragon members, and unlocking is covered by Veldora and Earth Dragon better than this card in every single regard. Moving on, we have the Fire Human Challenge Stage card Mammy. This card is highly useless simply because it was born wrong. If it was Fire Beast, maybe there would be a case for it, but just by being a Fire Human, the bar is just so high that any value this card may have had is overshadowed by other infinitely better Fire Human members. Next is the longest section in the patch notes, card buffs. There are a ton of cards and skills getting buffed, so I'm just going to verbally summarize the most important ones. I won't be going over multiplier increases, and if I don't go over a card or skill, it probably means that the changes were minimal, or the card is still trash, or the card was trash and no one pulled on it. Just all of the above. Aurea received buffs to her leader and team skill, making her possibly usable, the most major changes being universal CD -6 upon entry, universal ignoring of initial and fixed combo shield, and immunity to tornado and cracked positions. She also got a small buff to her active skill that gives universal quintet ignoring, so in conclusion, welcome to being a speedrunning leader, Aurea. The next card to have major buffs is Bernice, the most major changes being more CD cycling and gaining ignoring of initial fixed combo and cross-shaped shield, along with the usual multiplier buffs of course. Next is Mamitu, who got a buff to her active, where it previously could not be deactivated at any time, now it can, and her CD also got reduced from 6 to 5. The Atom package, which is Atom and Pyramid and the other Atom, also got a bunch of buffs. It mainly looks like multiplier changes to me, along with some other buffs, but I'm not too sure what the impact of that is since I don't own Atom myself and have never played with her. Maybe she's good now, but my bets are on if you own the card, you probably can use her now for a little bit, but there are better Machina leaders out there still, I think. In addition to all of that, the SR Egyptian gods got a buff to their leader skill, which I did not expect. Basically, their leader skill multipliers got increased, with their own attributes damage being increased to ×15 from the previous ×10, and direct damage being increased to ×10 from ×3.5, which is a total of ×150 if it's direct damage of their attribute, being a big change from the previous ×35. In conclusion, you'll probably only be using Egyptians as an ally when speedrunning now. Normally skill buffs go at the end of the patch notes, but we're not done yet. We have the addition of 3 new Chronon cards, with the middle one being 1 star and the other 2 being 2 stars. The middle one is kind of useless. The left one might be good for speedrunning as it just does direct damage on the instant, and the right one might be good for ban and other cards that are outdated since it fully charges your craft on the instant. In conclusion, none of these are really that good for common use. Lastly, we have a new Earth Human Battle Pass card, Morse, who is decent but not super useful. I mean, it's an EP6 active skill that does generally good things, but again, with the amount of humans that are out there, any human card has to be absolutely excellent in order to stand a chance at being used as a member. Moving on to the ranking for the seal cards, I mean, presently there are only 3 cards that have been revealed. I think Moriarty is, okay. This will probably cost 150, if I'm not mistaken, just because it is just that type of seal. The Moriarty is okay. The other 2 sub-jackpots have 5 diamond tier actives, so it's not looking too great. If you're looking to pull on this, you physically cannot until next week anyway. I don't recommend you pull on this as of right now. You can always wait until a later date to just see what future seals are. I don't even recommend this as like a starter card because you can probably just like start off with better cards, better uses of your 150 diamonds for sure. My ranking of the free cards is even worse. Toby is like probably a possible beast member just because you can activate him after every kill. The dragon card and the human card are absolute trash. I don't think you would miss them if you didn't get one, but just get one just for, you know, safekeeping, I suppose. And for Morse, he's just okay, as I said before. Lastly, we have the celebration events. The returning ultimate card this time is the Light Dragon Bellion, a pretty bad card, so you can just get one copy and go. Atoma is also coming back, her seal that is, but as usual, I recommend saving your diamonds for newer cards instead. That's it for this week's news review. If you've made it to the end, I really appreciate your time. It took me a long time to condense this, holy crap. And I would also really appreciate a like, comment, or subscription. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya.